Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to this class on essential oils for self-care and spa. Now, I will recommend, like I said, this recording will be up on my YouTube channel, and I will be copying and pasting a few things into the chat that you can also copy and paste or save yourself. But I would recommend that you either pull up something like a Google Doc on your computer to take notes while you're watching this, or potentially that you get a pen and paper handy so that you can write down some different things because we're going to be going over quite a few different recipes and ideas. You can also should be able to screenshot on your computer parts of the slides, and I'm going to be going through slow enough that you should be able to screenshot any individual slide that's got recipes or a shopping list or anything like that. Okay. So let's get started talking a little bit about me. So, a little bit about me. I've been using and sharing essential oils since 2011, so quite a bit of time now. These are my main website. So, annalaurabrown.com is my blog, where I also host my podcast as well. I'm a blogger and a podcaster as well, targeting primarily the audience of people with autoimmune disorders. And one of the my favorite ways to use essential oils is to help with self-care and reducing stress, things like that, helping turn your home into a quote unquote spa, if you will, so that you can help yourself to relax, take care of yourself, because the reality is that that's one of the reasons that a lot of people end up with autoimmune conditions or other kinds of sicknesses is because they aren't taking the time to take care of themselves, to relax, to de-stress, that kind of thing. And then discoveroilsnow.com is my essential oils website where you can go and buy essential oils, and we'll discuss that a little more towards the end. Okay, so a couple of things to keep in mind as you're getting started with this concept of turning using essential oils for self-care and spa is how to choose the right essential oil or essential oil blend combination, that kind of thing, when you are looking to do this. So the first thing you want to think about is what kind of an environment do you want to create? So there's a lot of different kinds of environments that you can create with essential oils. You can create an environment, for example, that is there to just help you kind of reduce stress, relax, pamper yourself, that kind of thing. You can create an environment that is one that is more conducive to falling asleep. So maybe right before bedtime, you want to create more of an environment that will help you get that good sleep to fall asleep and stay asleep. Can also create an environment that will help you maybe heal from something, like maybe you're struggling with a little bit of like sinus issues or a cold or something like that, and you want to focus a little bit more on your health and well-being and a few things like that. So, and how will you use essential oils specifically for spa and self-care? So you just want to think about these things before you decide what kinds of essential oil or essential oils you're going to use, and we'll give you some ideas as we progress further on. Okay, so here are some of my favorite essential oils that I like to use for self-care and spa. These are by no means all of them, but these just happen to be some of my favorites. So lavender, of course, is always going to be a favorite for relaxation and spa. Spearmint I have up here, and some people prefer peppermint more, but the mints, so really any of the mint oils. Spearmint to me, I like a little better when we're trying to create kind of that spa environment, just because I just find that spearmint scent has kind of that awe where you're just like, oh wow, okay, you know. And eucalyptus is always a good favorite one because that's really good for helping with your breathing, helping open up your sinuses, that kind of thing. Then bergamot, which is one that not as many people are familiar with, but bergamot is actually a citrus and a fruit essential oil. The place where it grows the best and is produced the most naturally is actually in Italy. They have a lot of bergamot there, along with a lot of orange and lemon and lime and that kind of thing. And so it has somewhat of a scent that is somewhat similar to, I would say, kind of almost a cross between a lemon and a lime, and is a really good one for a lot of like relaxation spa type environment. Also, you have rose, and unfortunately, rose, because of what it takes to create a rose essential oil, though rose is the most expensive essential oil there is, pretty much. And so, because rose is so super costly, there are ways to try to make it last a little better. So you can probably, hopefully, can't see it towards the end. Maybe I'll try to unmute. I'm gonna actually temporarily stop sharing for just a second so that I can, let's see here. Um, see how I can stop sharing. I think I can just go to, there we go. Now I can temporarily show you. Oh, looks like I didn't quite do that right. Okay, let's see here. There we go. But um yeah. See if I can try to hopefully, okay, now maybe you can hopefully see that. But the gist of this is that I'm trying to show you here for just a second is that this is a rose essential oil that has been diluted in a carrier oil in a roller bottle. So because of that, it is significantly less expensive than if you have, just a regular bottle of rose essential oil. So then their other way alternative that you could also have is to consider finding like some kind of like a rose hydrosol or like a rose water or something like that that has, rose essential oil, or kind of like a, not really, in some cases it may be essential oil, but it may also be, just rose petals out into the water, things like that, because rose is a great smell for self-care and spa, but like I said, it's pretty costly. Okay, and then the next one I really like is the Aroma Touch blend, which is a unique blend of doTERRA, specifically kind of trying to show it to you, but basically this particular one has a mix of cypress, peppermint, marjoram, basil, grapefruit, and lavender in it. So it's got kind of a good mix of like your trees with and a few little floral and citrus, that kind of thing in it, and comes as a blend. And this is another really good spa one. But in general, I would say a lot of my favorite ones for the self-care are going to be either like your straight florals, or in some cases your mints, or like a combination of like a fruit and a mint. So like wild orange and peppermint is another combination that I really like together. And I just have a really good tendency to be a really big fan of those kinds of combinations. But at the end of the day, it can also be about what kinds of essential oils speak to you personally, because there's really no uh, wrong answers here. It's just about what helps you relax and helps create that spa environment for you personally. Okay, so what are some of the best ways to use essential oils for creating that self-care, that spa environment? So the first one, of course, is to get a diffuser and use some kind of a diffuser. So I have like several in my house, but you can use anything from like, I think you can kind of see that one, from like a smaller one that you fill with water that doesn't cover quite as big of an area, to a larger one, to potentially even a diffuser that you just plug into the wall and put the bottle of oil directly in it. And then it gives you kind of a stronger kind of a sense. But I have a tendency to think that if you're going to try to create kind of that spa environment, you definitely want to involve some kind of a diffusing thing. Also using essential oils directly in the shower or in the bath, and we'll talk about in the next couple slides some different ways to do that. Also with some lotion and with hand and foot creams. So some good ways to do that. Okay, so here are some additional supplies that if you're really gonna go gung-ho and actually really create more of that self-care and that spa environment, you're gonna want some, if not almost all of these kinds of things in your house. So the first one is like a fractionated coconut oil. So this is a sample of one of the bottles that I've got of it. But basically, the idea is the biggest difference between like a fractionated coconut oil and a just a regular coconut oils, if you just go buy regular coconut oil at the store, it's typically not going to be liquid. So it's going to be more of like have kind of that mushy consistency. And of course, you can always melt it down and make it liquid, but then, it's going to be hot. So that's not really what you're going to want to do. Instead, what you're going to want to do is create more of a, get that liquidy type essential oil. And I don't know, or coconut oil. I don't know why my display keeps doing weird things there, but um, so yeah, so like a fractionated coconut oil is like a liquid oil or other carrier oils. So examples of those would be things like a jojoba oil, a potentially like an avocado oil or olive oil. Those are not the best because they're typically more of your cooking oils. So any kind of like a liquid type of a carrier oil that's not typically used in cooking. So there's different ones out there. You can get a lot of the carrier oils. Some of the best places to get some of the liquid carrier oils would be like a Whole Food store, like Whole Foods, a Sprouts, some places like that. Sometimes they have them at other kinds of spa, skincare places, that kind of stuff. Sometimes you can find them on Amazon or Walmart, but you got to be really, really careful there because the quality can be not the greatest, and the things that are on the labels aren't always what's there. So you just have to kind of take, just kind of see. But okay, and then plain unscented lotion. So this is like doTERRA has one that you can get, or you can buy them at the store as well. The biggest thing with the plain unscented lotions, though, is you want to be read the ingredients and make sure it doesn't actually have other fragrance or other chemicals added. Make sure that it's really just a pure unscented lotion that then you can add your own essential oils to create kind of that scented lotion. And baking soda is always a good one. So, just your standard baking soda that you buy at the grocery store. And we'll talk here in a minute about some ways to use that. Also, Epsom salt. So, Epsom salts are really good. Personally, my favorite kind and way to get Epsom salts is actually at Walmart. It's one of the few things on here that I would buy at Walmart is the Epsom salts. You can get the really large bags, and yeah, that's typically one of the better ways to get them. Also, you a diffuser, so kind of like I talked before already, some kind of like an essential oil diffuser. There are literally so many different options that, you just kind of get one or two to begin with and try them out and see how they work for you. Then roller bottles, so that would mean like you can buy plain roller bottles that don't have anything in them. And so that's the kind of thing you can get. There are actually essential oil supply stores that are typically the best bets for those. Spray bottles, and what you want to do with a spray bottle is you want to try to have, so this one here that hopefully you can kind of see there. Oh, okay, sure, we can kind of, it's a little tricky with the background thing, but you can, it's basically a glass container. So you want to try to avoid plastic spray bottles or plastic containers as much as possible, just because the essential oil over time can eventually eat through plastic. So you want to have glass bottles as much as possible, and ideally spray bottles that are probably a little bit less than like your big full 16 ounce. So probably a couple sizes like a 1 ounce, a 2 ounce, a 4 ounce. And I have a couple that are also 8 ounce that work pretty well. But just some different kinds of spray bottles, and then distilled water. So distilled water is going to be better than just your regular standard tap water or water from the fountain, or just water from your kitchen tab, whatever. Yeah, you probably want to actually buy distilled water, and the reason is that the combination of the distilled water with the oils is typically going to work a little bit better, more effectively, and in some recipes, it's just going to work better if you have actual distilled water. Then brown sugar, and so why do I have brown sugar on this list? Well, brown sugar is a really good way for you to be able to create some different kinds of like skin, kind of like whatever you call them, like things for, yeah, for your skin. And then bentonite clay. So bentonite clay is a really good detoxer, but it's also a really good way to make like natural face masks, that kind of stuff. Okay, so here are a couple ideas for getting in the shower and using essential oils in the shower. So First thing you can do is you can mix a little essential oil with water and spray the shower before getting in. So, best way to do this would be to take a really small spray bottle. So, in this case, ideally like a 1 ounce or so, and maybe a 2 ounce at the most. And you want to put like about make it pretty strong. I would say like 20 to 40 drops of essential oil plus the water. So you've got quite a bit of essential oil in there. And you can just kind of mist the shower before you get in. And then when you turn the water on, especially if you're using like hot water, and I recommend more of like hot type water to create a steam, that combination can create the mist with the essential oil that works really well. And this works really well with something like eucalyptus, so creating kind of like that eucalyptus steam environment, that kind of thing. And or you can, experiment with others as well. You can also mix a few drops of essential oil with baking soda and put it on the shower floor and then turn the water on and create kind of like a sort of like a bath bomb effect, but inside the shower. And you can buy a lot of, like forget what they call them exactly, but kind of like the little like um essential oil infused type disc things that you can then put on the shower, like commercially made ones. But a lot of times the main two ingredients, and in some cases the only thing they have in there is like baking soda and essential oil. So honestly, this is a budget hack to not have to go buy those and just use the baking soda and the essential oil. You can also, like I said, mix in a few drops of essential oils with brown sugar and then basically just rub it on your skin for kind of like that rough feeling scrub and then just rinse it off. And the main reason you want to use brown sugar and not like a white sugar or something like that is that the brown sugar just has different kind of a consistency for like creating that kind of like that skin scrub type feeling. And then bentonite clay, you can mix in a few drops to make a clay mask for detoxing and also for just relaxing. So you basically just take a little bit of the bentonite clay, you mix it in like a separate container with some water, and then you just mix in the oils and just kind of apply it to your face. And you can let it just kind of sit there and soak on for a little bit, and then you can go in the shower and rinse it off. So just a few ideas for the shower, but I'm sure there's probably dozens more out there. Okay, so then the next one would be some bath ideas. So these are two of my main favorite ideas for how to use essential oils in a bath. First one would be to mix Epsom salts with essential oils and put into bath, and then make or buy bath bombs. Um, Personally, I've tried to make bath bombs and haven't had a lot of success with it. So, personally, with actual bath bombs, I found it better to just buy them, even though they are more costly. But that's just kind of, been my experience. As far as like using Epsom salts with essential oils, so for the very best effect, what you want to do is you actually want to take some of your Epsom salts and let me see if I can find actually. Well, yeah, not super easily accessible, but should have probably planned ahead. But basically, get like a glass container that's around, well, one that's around 16 to 32 ounces, and then basically just fill it as well as you can with the Epsom salts. And then, sorry about that, I'm getting this cough. I may have to go grab water, got a frog in my throat. And then mix in the essential oils into the Epsom salts and get them really well mixed in there, and then put that mixture into the bath. And you want to use about a full 1 to 2 cups of the Epsom salts with the essential oils into the bath. And I have a whole separate video on this on my YouTube channel that you can go find if you're really interested in how to put essential oils into the bath, that kind of thing. But the main thing you want to be aware of when you're mixing those essential oils with Epsom salts and then going to put them into the bath is that there are some essential oils out there that are really hot and that can burn your skin. So you don't want to use those in a bath environment. And um, yeah, Pearl, I probably will do that actually here in just a sec. It probably would be a good idea. I'm gonna go grab a little water so that I don't I got some right here, so I don't have to keep cough at all. Um, you want to, yeah. So some of my favorite essential oils for putting in like a bath with Epsom salts would be things like eucalyptus, copaiba, lavender. You could also do like a bergamot. You could do basically most of your florals and your woodsy type essential oils. So if you're trying to do kind of more like an environment for sleep, you could do like lavender and cedarwood. You could also do things like you can peppermint's one that's kind of a little bit iffy. It can be a little bit of a hotter oil, but it can still work, but you just got to be really careful. So I would do like a little bit of maybe more like a spearmint, and then I would mix in something like a lavender or eucalyptus with it and focus really more like on the woodsy oils, the floral oils, that kind of thing, rather than, be pretty careful with a lot of the mints. And you really want to stay away from anything that's super hot, like clove, oregano, cinnamon, that kind of thing. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to put those in a bath anyway, because those are really not the kind that you want to have in a bath environment. But I bring that up just, for safety reasons. Okay, then, yeah. Okay, so bathroom bomb. Yep, I'm good. I got my water. So I start coughing anyhow. Take a little bit of sip there. There we go. Okay, moving on. Okay, so the next thing you can also do is some kind of like a foot soak with Epsom salts and essential oil. So this can be really good for helping your feet to relax, helping you to draw potentially any kind of toxins or anything out of your feet, or helping you with just overall making your feet so they don't stink even, or just relaxing, is to put those Epsom salts and essential oils in a bathtub and then just stick your feet in for a few minutes, or you can put them into a large bowl of water or a foot soaker of some kind. So, I actually have an actual foot soaker. However, the actual foot soaker I have does say on the box that you're not really supposed to put those kind of things in it. So, plastic parts, moving parts, that kind of thing. So, depending on what kind you have, you want to be a little careful. But this can be so personally, my favorite way to do this is to get like a larger, like kind of a foot tub or like a larger bowl that is big enough for you to put your feet in it and put the water and the oils in it and then just sit there and soak in it. Because you can do, like I said, just stand up in a bathtub or find a way to just put your feet in a bathtub, but it can be really awkward positioning wise. So it's better to have some kind of like a foot type tub or like washing sink type thing or something, some big container that you can just stick it in. Okay, so lotions and creams. So the very best way to do this, like I mentioned briefly before already, is to make some essential oils with unscented lotion, and then you can lather it all over your body, like whether that's your feet, your hands, your wrists, your elbows, your, back, wherever you want to put it in order to, just get that feeling all over you and do it a little bit more of a natural way than buying like a scented lotion. That a lot of times those pre-scented lotions, typically a lot of them have some chemicals, things in them that can be hormone disruptors, things like that, that really aren't great for your health. Okay, so then diffusing. So I mentioned this already a little bit, but we can talk about it a little bit more in detail. So you can do things like diffusing essential oils while also in the bathroom and or in the bedroom while meditating. So you can, these are some different combinations that I found actually in a book that I'll talk about a little more at the end that I'll show you. Diffuse essential oil. So things like you have like an island paradise recipe, for example, with lime, grapefruit, and vanilla. You have a mountain retreat where they've combined their like Siberian fir, cedarwood, cassia, and bergamot. You've got a luxurious spa where they've combined like lavender, eucalyptus, and lemongrass. And then, of course, let's not forget the massage. So you can combine oils with a carrier oil and apply to your feet, legs, hands, and back. These are some different combination ideas here. Obviously, in a perfect world, with doing this, you would have some kind of like somebody, close to you, whether that's a spouse, a partner, or somebody that you're comfortable enough with to be able to help you put some of these things on. If you don't have access to that, though, there are ways that you can just kind of, try to apply to yourself as well as you can. So some of these different ideas would be things like Roman chamomile, lavender, and orange would be a good combination. Lavender, rosemary, melaleuca, and peppermint. Copaiba and spearmint's a good combination. Just the aroma touch blend that I mentioned before is a good combination. But really, any combination or even singly of just like anywhere from one to some cases maybe in four or five different oils that really speak to you, you can, use those to massage yourself. Okay, so then there's also what's called the Roma Touch hand massage. So this is more of a specific technique that I'm not going to really cover in detail on here, but I'm still going to talk a little bit about it. So basically what this does is it involves massaging your hands with essential oils, and these are some of Roma Touch and Balance or doTERRA blends, but there's also Copaiba and Lavender that are singles. And basically, what you do with that essential oil is, let me see, I'm going to need to undo, let's see, to uh, stop the sharing. Um, let's see, can't seem to figure out how to stop. Let's see, advanced sharing, no. Can figure out how to not share the screen so that I can come back to this. It's in effects. That's not it. Okay, let's see. Video. Huh, that's weird. Usually I'm able to jump back and forth between the two. And I don't really know how to not do it. Okay. Um, hmm. Well, I can't figure out how to. Okay, let's see. No, that doesn't seem like that's it. For me to stop sharing. Okay, let's see. Nope, I don't know how to do that. Weird. I'm used to be able to just jump back between the two. Well, okay. If you really want to see this more in depth, then, I may have to do this separately, but basically, let me try to see if you can kind of see by hand. But basically, what you do is you take a couple drops of one of these essential oils and you can dilute it if you want, if you're worried a little bit about sensitivity, but you basically just, you sort of just kind of massage and maneuver, just apply that essential oil a couple of different times to each finger. So you basically just start with your thumb, kind of like I'm kind of doing there, and kind of apply it to the thumb, and you move to the next hand finger and the next finger and the next finger and the next finger. And then when the one hand's done, you move to the next hand. And the best way to do this, obviously, is to have somebody else, so to have a second person that can do this all for you. But if you don't have that, this is another thing where you can do it yourself. But that's, yeah, just how you would do it. So you basically just one at a time, you just kind of massage that particular oil or oils into each one of your fingers until you feel like it's good. And most of the time, you take probably about 10 minutes or so to do that. So that's just another way to help, get those oils into your hands and into your system and that kind of thing. Okay, so then here's a couple of other recipes. This is one you may want to screenshot. So you can make, for example, like a Sweet Dreams pillow spray. And this is the recipe on how you can make it. So you can do it with like a 10 drops of lavender, 8 drops of Roman chamomile or cedarwood, half a teaspoon of vegetable glycerin. So vegetable glycerin is like another thing, you can just find that at like Walmart or somewhere and get it in like a big bottle, and it's basically a carrier for when you add essential oils to it, it makes it so that the spray will carry farther. It's kind of, and it's just a little better than using total distilled water. So then here it has a quarter, and that's basically, I think, supposed to be quarter cup, I think. Let's see. I somehow didn't quite get, let's see. Quarter cup. Yeah. Copied it out of a book and didn't quite get it all. Okay, and then into a 2 ounce spray bottle, and then add the essential oils and glycerin to it. The rest of the bottles with distilled water. You can screw the spray tap onto the bottle and shake it, then spray on the pillow right before bed. So this is just one of the recipes, and really the amount of recipes that you can do are pretty endless. And let's see here. So then the next thing, and I was gonna cover, let me see. Maybe I can actually stop now. Oh, my slides. Um, oh, maybe I can actually blur my background. There we go. So now before we cover what's on that last slide, which I was going to do that in a minute here, I want to actually go over some different ideas for recipes. And so I'm just going to put the rest of this last slide in the chat rather, and then I can try to show you some things without the slides because it's going to be easier for you to see some of this. Okay. Okay. So this is a, let's see, let me, yeah, make sure that you can, oh, even blurred, that's not going to work super well. I'm not going to blur it. There we go. This is a recipe book called the Essential DIY Recipe Series. You can get this a couple different places, I believe. Uh, it's where was the aromatools.com was the main place that I was looking at stuff. But this has, like a lot of different recipes. So there's, like some additional ideas of things that I didn't really cover because I wasn't really, depending on what kind of environment you're trying to create, you could also even do things like create different kinds of like herbal teas that you then add honey to. And if you're using the right kind of essential oil, you could use like a toothpick and stir like a little bit of essential oil into the tea if you're using one that is approved for internal use, that kind of thing. There's all different kinds of things in here. So like different sprays of different combinations. There's, not enough time to anywhere close to that to go over all of the different kinds of massage oils and diffusing recipes and things like that. But that book's got a lot of things in it. And now you can kind of hopefully see this clearer. So yeah, so this was the example I was trying to show of like the fractionated coconut oil where you can see it's totally clear and it's not like your regular coconut oil that you would cook with or that you would eat. You've got like an example of like a straight pure lotion. So like you can kind of sort of, I know it's still even hard with the background off to see it, but it's just a straight pure lotion that you can add essential oils to that doesn't already come with any kind of a scent in it. This is an example of a glass spray bottle, but yeah, basically you just can use all different kinds of stuff. And yeah, so basically on the hand massage thing, what I was basically trying to show is that you do something. So, for example, let's say I wanted the aroma touch, and I was going to do it on myself. I basically just kind of drop a little bit. Then I basically would just kind of maneuver and massage it on the thumb. Then I would move a little bit, go a couple times on index finger, then just kind of gradually massage it into the different fingers. And you can just kind of take around 5 minutes per hand. I'm not going to do quite that long this time, and go to the next finger, and then you would also do it on the other hand. So it's basically just a way of getting it into the hand so that you can get the benefit from that. So yeah, so in a perfect world, the other thing you would do to make this more like a spa type experience and make it be better would be if you are able to have somebody else to help you, with like the massage part and applying the essential oils to you. So anyhow, that's basically the gist of it. Like I say, the combinations and stuff are endless. Like I put in the chat, basically the promotion I'm having tonight is I put the link where you can go and get a lot of the oils. It's got the unscented lotion as well, some of the things that I talked about, and the first person that actually does an order, I'm going to ship that fits the qualification I put in there is going to, I'll buy you one of these books. Otherwise, you can find it, yourself or whatever. And if you have additional questions or want to consult with me privately, the link to there goes to my actual calendar where you can schedule a time to consult with me privately. Otherwise, I'm going to stop the actual recording now, and those of you who are here live can unmute and ask me any specific questions you want.